Mhm. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Unreal Engine 5 game development live stream where we're back in our Deck Knight project. A game built from scratch, of course, using Unreal Engine 5, C++ blueprints, the game playability system plugin, and all of the good stuff. So let me just log into my Perforce server here. Today we're going to be working on a little bit more about our melee section here, because I'm not that big of a fan at the moment of our special melee hold attack. Visually it looks okay, but like I don't like what it's doing. You know, it's an area affecting, but you know, you're kind of zigzagging all over the place, and I feel like that might be too hard to read, at least for the context that I'm kind of looking for. So just as a reminder of what that attack looks like, you know, I want to keep this charge pose for sure. But when you release and you do all the zigzags, I don't like that, and I found something that I think might be better. It comes from the same animation pack, I believe. And it may be simpler, but I think that's kind of what I want to go for this attack. So we have like a run attack, right? So if we preview this, like, I don't mind it being one or the other. Or you do like a charge into some sort of slam or kind of push through. Sorry, this here. So I'm probably more in favor of this one. So you kind of go through. And it might just be cooler. So I kind of want to try that. And you know, if we ever have introduced a sprint attack, we can always maybe do the other one as the sprint attack, you know. But I feel like there's some good opportunity with this one. So I want to try it and see what happens. So yeah, first things first, we need to retarget. So let's do that. And what's the one called? Standalone, I think. So export animation. So now we're going into gas course game. Guest character animation melee. And call it special, I guess. So we can export. Now for this, we want to use motion warping, of course. Oh. So let us enable root motion. So bam. So we might need to cut some of it. So maybe like we could start like here, potentially. We'll have to look at it once it's like a montage. Let's create a montage. We just gotta move it to the appropriate directory. Player, ability system, abilities, test examples, melee, animations. So we have this bad boy, right? And my heart tells me there'll have to be two separate animations. Because, well, I mean, how does this one work? It's the power example, right? So we have like kind of a loop and a charge and then a release. So maybe I can kind of copy that. Let's go back into our main arena here. So I guess technically I could just delete this one. Let me keep it open. I'll make a copy of this. I'll say O2. Hey, Vinigero, how are you doing? Thanks for popping in. How's it going? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever y'all might be. So yeah, what I want to do is just replace this part with, you know, what we want. So it'll go like that, and then, so yeah, we kind of want to get close to this pose, and it's okay that it snaps. So what part of the frame is this? So we're at frame 108. So roughly 0.2 seconds in. It's definitely gonna be a pop. Yeah, these are damage events. We don't really care about that. Motion warping we're eventually gonna care about, but I just want to see what this looks like vanilla. I'm gonna finally finish my custom animation blueprint. It took longer than I expected though. Yeah, the animations take, well, not animations, but I guess just animation logic is complicated. Oh, okay. So I need to update this. I hope you got the I hope you got the results that you wanted. So like I'm in the part where like I like my animation. Oh, okay. What happened here? Okay. Random crash, I guess. Great. I hope I saved everything. Like, I'm at the point of my locomotion that I like it decently enough. I think it looks good. It serves the purpose that I want. It's not overly complicated. Yeah, it's pretty close to Lyra gameplay-wise, but simpler setup from scratch, you know, just data assets. That's good, that's good. So I guess you can easily override stuff if you wanted to back down the line. So we have our montage. So now I have to get into my melee combo chooser. Now here's my melee hold. That. Now I should be able to see it. So we go like that, and then bam. Right. Definitely, like, I'm not gonna say it's like it's not overly complicated, this attack, right? Like, it's definitely, I want it definitely to go faster. Like, maybe see what it looks like 1.5 times faster. Yeah, it's like bam, right? And yeah, I might want to just kind of time warp instead. Basically, yeah, basically from the start up until what? Or maybe this section is just two times faster. I'm guessing you're gonna have, like, you know, possibly different items you want to overlay. Different layers based on the type of equipment you have. Okay, that feels good. Bam. I do want to adjust because I want you to be able to warp faster. Not faster, further. Depending on how long you charge it. So I'm gonna have to go into melee. There's melee hold. And I definitely like, because I also think it should be based, like, as soon as you go hold it down, I think it needs to kind of, as soon as you hold it down, you need to go into like this charging pose. But I think I also need to change something in the state tree. I just don't know if it's going to work. Maybe not in the state tree. Am I using custom actor info in GAs? No. It should be like the default gas actor info. The only thing that I'm doing unique in that case is in the melees and the enemy stuff, using state trees, passing in the dynamic parameters and stuff like that, but that's about it. So where is my state tree? I just type in melee, I'm sure it'll come up, right? Yeah. So that's my state tree. Then I have my input listener, and then so my heavy attack hold. There's default gamepad. I like to avoid safe checks if things are available all the time. I mean, I do some, I guess, something like that. Not really. Like, I have some default components and stuff like that that I will, in most cases, still kind of like instantiate like this, which maybe I shouldn't be doing. Maybe you'll be able to just do in the base kind of class to have all the context that I need, but for now, no. What am I looking for? Yeah, IMC. So there is melee heavy attack hold, and I think it's on hold, right? But I wonder, can I just do down, but do I get released if I do down? All right, I do. So what I'd like is basically to have some sort of timed mechanic within this. So you hold to get like some visual cue, some feedback cue, and then when you do it, you know, you get more distance, maybe you get more damage. I'm also thinking about if the basic melee combo should also do something. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going for. Basically, the longer you hold, the more you'll warp up until like some maximum threshold. But I also maybe want to visualize that path, so you'll have like that kind of ground overlay, kind of like what you would see in like League of Legends with what's his name, like Thresh, I think. But it's in other cases too. Like you have like a rectangular kind of growing thing. I think I had this idea in my shield bash mechanic in my old project. So I know it's doable. Let me see if I can find a video of that. Shield bash ability. We're gonna go and look at me back in the day. I kind of look the same. How many years ago was this? 3 years ago? So do we have an example of what this looks like? Yeah, kind of. You know. Okay, so we got that, right? So now we should be able to do a little more with this, right? So the current issue is I think I don't think I can get data about how long it's been held, so I might have to just kind of keep some sort of timer, which I don't know if I like. Because okay, so bam. I also have to think about maybe how targeting might work. My first thought was to trigger different ability or different params based on actions, but that's not very clean. I see. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing in this state tree level, you know, like based on input actions, I'm entering different states that are activating different abilities, and then I have this state tree task that I can just dynamically add parameters into. So it's kind of like doing that. But then you also have like the Lyra example, I think, does it, where you have, I forget what they're called. It's not a ability sets. It's like input, input config, where you can map ability actions to inputs and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that. I don't think I need melee attack anymore. Like, I'll have to do some cleanup eventually, but so we have this working pseudo the way we want, right? But I have to think about first motion warping, right? And I have to do something over time anyway. So we can probably script this with a timer, and then we can move it to code later, or make, I think we do have, do I have a tick task? I know I made a tick task some time ago, but maybe it was for a different project. I put it on the internet, so I could probably just grab it again later. But let's just do set timer, right? And we also have to eventually be careful. The one for effect duration, no, that's a different one. That one's for like the UI aspect of it, like for cooldowns and ability duration, stuff like that. What I'm talking about is an explicit task that just simulates tick. So set timer by event. So let's make a custom event. What do we want to call this? Like hold time. For now, we'll simulate it with tick. So we'll get is it wait time or time second? Is it called delta? It's not called delta time, right? Is it? Get world delta seconds. So looping, we could do max once per frame. Call it here, hold time. Make a custom event. Adjust maximum distance, I guess. Of course, we're going to need some variables. A minimum distance. Max distance. This will need to be floats. We can expose them as well. So now with those exposed, we should be able to see them in... Is this an empty chooser? Okay. Let's delete that chooser. So wait input release does, and maybe I can use that. Like my concern is potentially because I'm using down rather than hold. I don't know if I'll get the input release. We could try, but also that means I might have will have to kind of map it correctly, which maybe I don't want to do. We could try though. Let's see if we get here. Yeah, so we don't get there. That might be because it's not within my native actions as well. Because I'm not really I'm not activating this via input in that same way. So I don't know if it'll work. We could try updating the IC. Enhance input actions. Tagged ability actions. Expand all. Do we have... We have melee heavy attack. But yeah, since it's... Oh. It's melee heavy attack, not melee hold. I don't know if that's going to work. We'll try it. Yeah, we still don't get it. So we can't really rely on that. We can also just make sure we get that breakpoint, right? Yeah. So yeah, we can't really rely on that. It's no big deal, you know? It was a good thought, though. Hey, thanks for the follow there on Kick. It's much appreciated. So maybe a custom task based on that one, C++. Maybe? Like, again, I am receiving, like if maybe I could pass in, like, the hold time. Like, because when I'm sending this on state tree level, you know, I'm doing this like hold complete. Hey, thanks for the follow there. Much appreciated. What is this? This heavy hold released, right? So well, I am going like a kind of a roundabout way too, right? Because like, so I am getting completed. I could maybe that could work. But I would also need to like on some form of tick or some what's the word? On some period of time kind of update and kind of draw the logic, which maybe could be its own task, like you're saying. Like in theory, because I'm passing everything to like released, and released is kind of sending another gameplay event, I could potentially send like a similar payload and send it through event magnitude, how long it's been held down for, but it seems unnecessary. If I can simply just do this. And yeah, what we also need like a distance stepper. Yeah, like, you know, I'm a blueprint first kind of guy because I'm not that great in C++. So I'd always need like a frame of reference anyway. And it's just generally faster, I think. So now that we have a min and max distance, we can also see those values here in state tree now. So we can make those values anything we want. For now, we'll just use default values. So minimum distance, we'll say, is 2 meters. And then max distance can be 1,000. And we could possibly lerp. But how do I want to lerp? It's like a linear interpolate. There's options for lerp, right? I always freaking forget. Lerping transforms. Slurp. I'm pretty sure there's a lerp with a curve, right? I feel like I'm going crazy. Also draw a curve. Let's do it with the custom curve. Luckily we have a curve. So we get an F curve underscore, we'll say melee special hold distance. I don't know. I think this will be a 0 to 1 kind of thing. So this could be 0, 0. This could be 1, 1. So over the course of 1 second, we could interpolate, right? So is this the appropriate curve? It's a runtime curve. I mean, maybe I could do it this way instead, right? It's a runtime curve. So in time, I always forget runtime curves are a thing, you know, they're pretty useful. Add a key, add a... So 0, 0. Time 1, 1 for value. Match. There you go, in your curve. Oh, you forgot to post your first article? Yeah, yeah, whenever it's ready, man. No rush, no pressure or anything. And have also a variable time, I guess. Also, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can just make this curve like this, and then I can use this as the alpha, and then lerp. And then X. And just print this out. Might be redundant. Let's see. So we should see 200 to 1,000, right? No. We're seeing zeros. And that's because passing in delta time, we're not adding time and delta time together. Now we should see something. Still nothing. Okay. Let's see. I am seeing value. Interesting that it's returning 0. Is it also returning 0? Okay, hold on. Okay. Well, I am getting 0 to 1. Awesome. Thanks for posting that, man. Thanks for, all the contributions that you make. And just chatting and hanging out. It's always appreciated. So we are getting a value from 0 to 1. Alright, so instead of just can I do interpolate? Float, interpolate. Because I guess the alpha isn't what I think it's supposed to be. Weird. So we're getting at the curve. How can I interpolate with this? So F inter, right? I wonder, does that have to be delta time? That's not gonna work too, right? I have to basically in distance. I kind of did that for jumping. I don't know if it still works. Yeah, like a hold charge and then you go boo. Kind of works. For jumping, at least. Let's just see what this prints out. Maybe we'll get some weird shit. Still getting 0, which is okay, I guess. Can I pass in world deltas again instead? Still nothing. Is that because of the interrupt speed? Well, min distance is 0. Okay. Do those values not get saved? Max. Okay. Is it because those values were both 0? I'm gonna be so pissed. Hold on. Oh, it's because they're in the state tree. Okay, so 200,000. Okay. So it immediately goes to 1,000, which I guess is fine. But maybe I don't need this anymore. Maybe I don't need all of that anymore. Can I use this as a lure? I have to see if there's a way to check if it was overridden in state tree or not. Okay, so that works. Thank God, I thought I was going crazy. So we don't need a current distance kind of thing, right? And so what I can do... Well, I could still make this called current distance, right? Just store it. Then let's draw a debug sphere. And the center of it is going to be get player character from actor info. This kind of custom stuff. I'm also kind of curious about your article here. Yeah, these are a lot of good console commands, man. Like, one console command that I don't understand why they don't have, because I like these ones where you can activate and cancel and everything. That's really good. I just don't understand why they don't have ones to set an attribute. I had to make that custom. Like, it's not even an... Well, I do have an IM GUI version of it, but I think it's called set, or... what is it called? Set gameplay attribute. And then I could set like max health to like 1,000. And now I have 1,000 health. I don't understand why that's not a feature by default. Yeah. Because I've had, like, when I was doing my resource UI, yeah, exactly. The UI. I was like, I couldn't, like, I pressed F12. What does that do? Oh my god. Oh lord. When I was testing my resource UI, I couldn't even use that. I couldn't even use that console command. It was just so tedious. So I made this IM GUI that lets you also modify that attribute, and you can kind of just look at it. So I can make this like 4, and then, you know, everything kind of updates. Make that 2, make that like 79 or something. You know, you can just see it all kind of update. So it was really nice to test the UI when I was having to do that. So yeah, let's make this curve exponential. Oh, whoop. Guess I need more points. Oh, it's kind of stupid. I have to do something like that, I think. Looks decent. Let's just, can I print that out again? Let me take out some of these tabs. I don't need them right now. But yeah, let's just do the math here. So we need to get the actor location. And adding to it, I need to get the forward actor, times it by current distance, add that back into that, do that. Duration can also be get delta world seconds, thickness key 2, and we can maybe even lerp the color using this alpha, and we can make it go from, like, you know, red to green, and so when it's green means go kind of thing. So let's see what that looks like. Get rid of this I am GUI. So yeah, the color not really doing what I wanted to do. It's because I'm telling it the wrong alpha. Oh, am I? Yeah. But now it should be red, and then bam. Hey! How's it going, Casper? So yeah, definitely want to also on release stop this so we can go bam, bam. What is this? So distance modification. Timer handle, I guess. Further melee improvements, that's correct. We're working on a different melee special. Rather than the one where you're kind of zigzagging all over the place. It's more of like a thrust forward. But based on how long you hold on, you'll be able to kind of go further. So bam. So obviously we still need a motion warp. So that's next. So let's go into our animation. So we're going from here. Oh, thanks. Yeah, running it on the Steam Deck was crazy. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. I don't know how well you guys will be able to see that. Could be crazy to have an attribute that drives how far is also. I agree. I think there could be some sort of multiplier attribute that you can get while you're playing. So, you know, some distance modifier. Maybe could also increase the damage radius as you're thrusting through and have it maybe apply some modifiers. I'm also playing a shit ton of Mega Bonk. Mega Bonk is as addicting as they say. I kind of want to get Ball Pit next, but I don't know if my body's ready for that. So yeah, I have to put it first you have to switch this thing to like developer mode, and then you gotta switch it to the desktop mode, and then you have to build the game in Linux. Not in Linux, but with the Linux tool chain. And then for me that failed a bunch, so I had to fix those issues. And then you have to get it on the Steam Deck, and then you have to like put a bunch of not console commands, but command prompts on this thing to make sure that it can be visible to your network and have it connect to the PC and then be able to move the files onto the Steam Deck, and then all this nonsense, right? I hope it remembers the console commands. Yeah. So you have to enter like a bunch of stuff on this console commands. And then you gotta execute it. Oh. First I have to do this, I think. Oh, I have to change the directory first. So change the directory to Deck Knight. Now I can do these things. Now I can run this command, I think. And now it's going to do a bunch of random shit, and then it'll eventually open up. And then, yay, we got our Gaia. And of course, it runs like ass, like we kind of talked about. And I don't really have a way to exit it. But I have to see what's eating the performance. I'm assuming it's just the level itself, and like the graphics settings and stuff like that. I'd like to kind of like open this up in a like a default test map and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know if it was worth doing at the moment. Just because, it's going to be a while, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And yeah, how long did it take you to get the game on Steam Deck? I'd say at least like 4 hours. I was relatively lucky because I packaged my game often. So the errors that it found were very Linux specific. Like it didn't like that some of the comments had like asterisks within it. Some other errors was like it didn't like the fact that there was both like an and condition and an or condition without parentheses around it. So it was mostly syntactical when doing the whole packaging in Unreal. But still. But then when I got it on the Steam Deck, it was crashing immediately. And it was because of this like compiler shader thing. I couldn't even see the game originally. So I had to get rid of the shader compiler thing in that build because it was dividing by 0. I was trying to fix that, but I was like, okay, if I don't need it right now, then I don't need it. But we'll have to figure that out later. So I'm thinking on frame. Whoop. So the motion warping has to be basically on frame 0 of this animation, right? So this is our track. Add notify state. Motion warping. So we go like from here. Oh. So I would also like to see him extend a little past where you're supposed to go. So like on the apex of the swing, I think, is where I want it to end. Do I have warp target? I don't think I have warp targets, especially. Yeah, switch. I think that my game would explode the switch, honestly. So melee base. I know it uses the same warp target names. So translation. And I think this could be translation only. I don't really know if I want to do rotation. Maybe it could be like an initial rotation. We'll have to try some stuff out. And we'll just do that one. And now inside of melee player hold, we do event warp target with not within melee range, or event warp target, no warp target. I think I need to just overall not care about targets at all. So I could, in theory, just disconnect that and not worry about it or ever kind of make these function calls. I could just say, because I would need to add or update the warp target by default. So I should do maybe say add or update. I need the motion warping component. And maybe from location is enough. And I need the function name. So we can see what this looks like. Just so we don't get distracted, I will not draw the debug, but I will draw the motion debug. And let's see what we see. So we don't really see the updating happen. I believe just because the warp target isn't being used, but you see it kind of towards the end there. So let's watch in slow motion. So bam, right? So that looks correct. So bam. And I don't know if, like, if you think, so for the sake of example, right? My character's looking this way. My camera's looking this way. Should I, as soon as I hold down, should we rotate towards the camera direction and then shoot forward that way? Or should we always kind of keep the characters forward? Because we do this for the basic melee attack. I do have a bug with my input buffer, but for the most part, it's always kind of going this way. But should the hold kind of behave differently? And then regardless if there's a target or not? And maybe it should follow input, maybe. So if I go like that, you guys can't see which direction I was going into, but maybe it should follow input. We could try that. In our montage, probably from here to here is where we'd want to do the rotation before the looping section. And the name, that, and we're gonna just do that, and we want to face it, and the time should be pretty quick. We could always kind of, you know, force rotate, but might look better if we kind of interpolate it this way. So in theory, what I can do, because there is this construct target when it's not in range, and just get the out warp transform rotation. Maybe I can override this one. We really don't care about the location. I don't think. I hope not. And what we can do is because we want to do no warp target, right? And yeah, that's still printing, but we want to do cached. Let's grab all this for now. So if this is false, so we don't care about location just yet. So let's just do ourselves a favor. So if vector is nearly 0, select. And then we want to do So if it is nearly 0 or not nearly 0, we'll pass it in. If it is, then we want to do get control rotation. So I'll need to get the controller clear. I made itself a helper function, right? Yeah. So I should be able to then say control rotation. And maybe I could already do this as x rotation from x vector, and then do that. And then, am I able to? So add or update from. I guess we could say this both that instead of saying melee, we say rotation. Then technically, I think it should be able to be like bam. Shouldn't. I'm hoping it won't matter, but we'll see. And so this should be able to happen like immediately. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Oh, kind of something. So, bam. But yeah, does it maybe it's not facing in its default? Let's see. Let's try a few. Maybe the location's fucking it up too. Maybe I do need to provide something. See? Okay, that seems to work. So it looks like we just need to do default. So, and then if I'm holding input, bam. So that looks good. Now we just need to do damage, I guess, next. So like I also want to do like some force feedback and camera shakes and all that good stuff. I should be able to just do a melee trace shape. Sure this matches that. Then yeah, this row handle, data table, melee trace data. Now, yeah, maybe I want to be able to trace around body rather than. Do you think I get the hitbox system to not depend on skeletal mesh weapon sockets? I wanted to use static meshes. Oh, well, I mean, static meshes also have sockets. So you should be able to do it. Give me just a second. Sorry about that. Yeah, so you can use static meshes. I just type in sword. I believe I have a static mesh. So, for example, if you go to Socket Manager, you can also just have it for static meshes. But you would have to kind of query for the static mesh and get it that way, but that's what we're doing. But what mine doesn't really support is being able to draw, I guess, around the player. Like, it has to be around the sword, but maybe I'd kind of want it to be around in a circle, you know? So we're doing something like that, which, you know, I get it looks cool, but it will probably miss. We probably want to just draw something around the player, you know? Maybe for longer, you know? And I don't think it'll support that. We could try. Like, if I literally just put root, does it break? Just none. It doesn't even draw. So we might need to be able to support that. So that could probably be for next time. So yeah, let's spawn a dummy and just see what happens. Oh yeah, I forgot I made a move. Freaky ass thing. Let's keep him still for now. Back. Yeah, so we do something like that. It's like bam. But yeah, it misses sometimes, and we kind of want there to be more into it. We'd also want to turn off collision, I think, to the player. Because I think there's a pretty harsh collide. Yeah. Right now it's only the enemy that blinks. I haven't really focused too much on the player side damage thing, but I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it could be just more about what the HUD's doing. Also slowly started making audio. I haven't been making audio, but like I bought audio, but I've been making them into meta sounds. I also don't know if I want to have these back lefts and back rights. Because they kind of derp out. That input buffer bug is broken. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out, because I also wanted. I'm thinking about if I should make a mechanic with the base sword. If, like, you know, you do a full combo or something, it puts like a status on enemies, and then if you cut through them like that, it, I don't know, it does something to your sword or something like that. Not sure. We also have to add jump again. And also weapon trail. And maybe like the weapon trail should be like a lot longer than the actual sword, you know? That's coming together, I think. But again, we gotta start focusing more on the cards soon. And consistency of sound effects and everything. Kind of just thinking in my head, sorry. But so far, I think we made good progress. Oh. I am getting some weird rotation. That's kind of funny. So let's fix that. Don't need that current distance. Min distance 200. Maybe min distance can be 0. If the new camera system is already reliable, it's going to help a lot on wall pulling scenarios. Yeah, but I don't know when the next time I'll be looking at the camera will be. Hopefully soon. Probably not, though. Probably, to be honest. So yeah, let's look at our rotation. So we do want to break and make. We only want to take in yeah, info, yeah, active rotation. That, and that should fix that problem. So if I'm looking up, stay consistent, so that's all good. So yeah, a lot to still figure out, but you know, I'm glad we made some progress there. We also got our footsteps making the effects based off the ground that you're walking on. You can't really see the snow one very well, but it's snow, trust me, bro. Yeah, we gotta make sure we can't interrupt this stuff. We gotta block it. When you're charging, I want there to be like a subtle camera shake of the UI, force feedback of the controller. cards here. But yeah, we're gonna have to end the stream shortly. Well, we have a lot to do tomorrow. So that's exciting. So we'll disable collisions on the player. We'll see if we can refactor the melee trace subsystem to allow us to also do it. Maybe we can introduce an enum parameter that says, you know, either use the character mesh or use the weapon mesh for the socket information. So I think that'll be enough for tomorrow, honestly. So we'll see if we're gonna get going. So that's where I'm gonna end. For tonight. Thanks for watching. It's all much appreciated. If you're watching and you aren't already subscribed to me here on YouTube, make sure to send one over. If you're not following me on Twitch, make sure to follow. We'll try to stream again tomorrow. So enjoy your evening, and I'll see you soon.